Welcome back to There Will Be Analysis. I'm Nick Ashima.
I'm Setsuo.
And we are Omega Level.
Omega level. Omega level. Omega level. Omega level.
You gonna stare at me all day? Is that what we're doing? We're just staring at each other?
I thought we were letting the intro play out.
28-minute episode.
We wait in real time for the intro to play out.
So this week on There Will Be Analysis, we're going to talk about Akira, or Akira.
As you plebeians say.
Yeah, as you plebeians call it, Akira. We're going to talk about Akira. This is the first animated movie that we're going to be talking about on There Will Be Analysis.
It will probably be the only one for Nick.
Yeah, it'll probably be one of the only ones I do. I'm not super into anime. I'm into animation stuff. Like, I love Disney stuff and stuff like that, but I'm not, like, super crazy into anime.
He's a Westaboo.
Yeah. However, Akira is such a phenomenal masterpiece that's like even I love this movie.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how you can't like acknowledge this movie.
No, if you've seen this movie, I don't know how you don't find stuff to appreciate within it. The movie came out in 1988. The manga came out in 1982.
1990. Well,
it came out in 82.
It started in 82, yeah, but it wrapped up in 1990.
So this movie was produced, like, it went into production probably, I would say a year, maybe 2 years before it was released.
It wrapped up in 87, and then
the production,
released in 88.
So yeah, the movie was made while the manga was still going on. So obviously things are different between the manga and the movie.
That's not very uncommon, though.
No, it's not very uncommon, but obviously things are different between the manga and the film.
But yeah, when this movie came out, it had like a $9 or $10 million budget, like US dollars, which made this the most expensive animated production at the time.
Yeah, I mean,
you can definitely tell.
Yeah, I think that's in 1988. That was like 30 years ago. $9 million budget for an animated movie is a lot of money. Back then, $9 million was probably a decent budget for a regular movie.
This is one of the biggest movies that like introduced animation or Japanese animation to the Western audience.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this definitely broke that through.
Yeah, like even Spielberg and George Lucas thought that this movie would be unmarketable.
When it's Spielberg and Lucas, that probably gave all the studio companies like enough pause to be like, yep, we're not touching that thing. If Lucas, who created THX 1138, which somehow found an audience, which I think is great, it's just very weird and unique, and then Star Wars, and that guy is like, this won't work. Maybe we shouldn't sign this film. Maybe we shouldn't buy it.
He's a Westaboo.
Definitely a Westaboo. But then he went on to create Jar Jar Binks, and those companies were like, why did we listen to this guy? One thing that I really, really like about this movie is, I mean, there's a lot of things, but one thing in particular is that there's not really like a hero or a good guy.
Oh no, like, this is filled with gray morality.
There's really no protagonist to the whole movie, right? You expect it will be Kaneda, but he is kind of a jerk. Like, he's a jackass throughout the whole movie.
Every time he keeps pursuing Tetsuo, he's just calling him out on stuff.
Yeah, he's just being like almost like mean and bullying him, even though he, like, when you see memories and flashbacks of him, he does consider him a friend, but he feels like he's someone he has to look out for and watch over, and he never like takes the second to stop and try to talk to Tetsuo and see what's going on.
I mean, you actually see that in Tetsuo's memories at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, he was always like, he needed Kaneda the entire time.
Mm-hmm. But Kaneda was always kind of a jerk to him.
Yeah, but they're part of a gang.
True. Yeah, the Capsule Gang.
The Capsules.
What a stupid name. Makes sense why he has
Core.
Makes sense why Kaneda has that capsule on his jacket.
Yeah, I was confused about that. I was like, I guess he's just advocating drug use.
Yeah, he just loves Tylenol. Tetsuo, who is like, I guess essentially the villain of the movie.
He's definitely a villain.
Yeah,
he put on the cape.
Shows his immaturity, right? So all these kids are like supposed to be high schoolers, and
they all have motorcycles.
Yeah, but they all have motorcycles. Somehow they have all the money for this. But as soon as he gets he leaves the facility the first time, right? After he has his encounter on the road with Subject 26, I believe it is.
Yeah, after their altercation with the clown gang.
Yeah, their altercation with the clown gang leads Tetsuo's like chasing one of them down the road, and then he comes upon that kid in the middle of the road, and the kid like he's obviously about to get crashed into a motorcycle, so he like shields himself and like blows the motorcycle up, and that trauma like awakens this power within Tetsuo. And then when he breaks out of the facility that he's in, like one of the first things he does is like, I feel powerful, let me put a cape on.
I love that scene though.
Yeah, the scene looks really cool, but it's like, that's the mindset we're dealing with. This is the person that has all this world-breaking power.
The main plot of this movie is once Tetsuo learns of the previous Esper, Akira,
yeah,
he goes out in pursuit to awaken him.
Well, yeah, and also because Akira has been like in his mind this whole time. It's like really annoying Tetsuo.
He's like, I don't know who that is.
All of them have been in his mind. Like, so there's 3 other kids that are subjects. There's a girl that's in like this bubble glass thing. Kyoto. And then there's 26, whose name I can't remember.
I can't remember. It's like Masara or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the other one that's in like the hovercraft wheelchair thing.
Yeah, the one that actually looks like a businessman.
The one that's in Professor X's wheelchair.
Except it hovers.
Yeah, except that, Professor X is hovered too in the cartoon.
Oh my gosh.
There's that yellow one that hovered, remember? Yeah. So that's where Professor X actually got it from. He got it from him. Yeah, so those 3 have all been like kind of inhabiting Tetsuo's mind, not messing with him.
Along with Kai's.
Yeah.
Or K's.
Yeah, along with K's like towards later on in the movie. But they've been kind of like messing with Tetsuo. I guess they're trying to, in the beginning, like really figure out who he is and what he's going to be about. And when they realize, oh, this guy's just mad power hungry and he's not going to be a good person, that they realize that they're going to need to try to like reawaken the spirit of, I guess, Akira, to try to stop Tetsuo, because he's obviously going to destroy everything. He's going to destroy the planet.
Well, at the beginning, they wanted to avoid a reawakening Akira because
Yeah.
he created that singularity you see at the beginning, which sparked World War III.
Exactly. But then they realize, well, we can't do this. Like, we're not going to be able to defeat this guy.
No, because I guess like the older the body, the more powerful, or like the more access to the power that they have.
Yeah.
It seems.
That's what it seems. And
Well, also, I mean,
Tetsuo's way
Tetsuo
older than
eventually
them.
stopped taking that medication, which was like repressing his powers, while the kids were still like
they were
like,
still taking it.
like mandatorily,
So yeah, Tetsuo didn't have that anymore, and you saw that when he starts the whole mutation thing towards the very end. He just can't control it anymore.
which was just such a phenomenal scene. Like, also just really, really gross.
Yeah, very gross. Dude, some of the best scenes in the whole movie are his tripping scenes when he's like freaking out and having his hallucinations. Dude, they're so cool.
I also love that because it shows that the other espers are still children, because they didn't want to fight him. They just wanted to like scare him into like, I guess, returning to the facility
So that he could be like subdued power-wise like they were.
and eventually probably dissected like Akira.
Dude, yeah, that was an insane little twist there when he goes and finally like opens the big like dome thing that has Akira in it, and it's just samples of like dissection of Akira.
Yeah,
It's like,
just
this is
samples
what
of
happened to him.
Just section of his like brainstem and spine
Yeah.
and stuff.
Like they couldn't understand why Akira was subject 25. So there had to be 24 before him, and none were nearly as powerful until the 25th one.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank God, right? Because there'll be no universe left. There'll be tons of pocket dimensions as they create at the end of the movie, which is just insane. Like Tetsuo doesn't even get defeated. That's the kicker here, which is what's so awesome too about the ending of this movie is he is not defeated. Akira comes back, and this big bubble starts forming around like him and Tetsuo, and then the kids go in there to like help Akira out, and then like they can't kill Tetsuo. They essentially create another universe that they all go and live in to save this one.
Well, I think
That's
it was
crazy.
like Akira was just like containing him, or like just taking him out of that dimension. Then Tetsuo just created his own little mini Big Bang.
Yeah, which is
He
that's
became
nuts.
the god of his own parallel dimension.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude.
That's one of the greatest ending lines of any movie.
Yes, I am Tetsuo.
It's reminiscent of Genesis.
Yeah, it's so dope, dude. Man, gosh, this movie is so deep. There's so much that goes into it, and the animation is some of the best animation you will ever see.
Well, this animation is still better than like many like
Things that come out now.
Well, yeah, but almost understandably, because like most like modern animes like that are like serialized television series.
True. They have
to
a small budget.
Yeah, they have a budget, so they have to spread that out through every episode, and they save it for like the more like actiony
Right,
moments.
yeah. They get a certain budget every if it works like American stuff does. They get a certain budget every season, and they have to expand that through all 12 to 30 to 40 episodes, however many they have in a season.
That's why you always have like in certain series they'll have episodes like right before the ending, like, hey, let's do a recap.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way, like, oh, we had to have 30 episodes, but we spent most of it on episodes like 1 through 28. All right,
Yeah.
recap. We'll just like repeat.
We'll just
animation.
recap on 29, and we spend the rest on 30. Yeah, so it is definitely understandable that like this would look better than a lot of other stuff, considering that it got such a massive budget for its time, and it was just a movie. It's just a 2-hour production is all they're gonna make.
Also, according to trivia, apparently like this had 327 colors used, which was a record at the time, and they invented 50 colors just for this movie.
That's how crazy this movie is. They invented 50 colors. It created colors to make this film possible.
I'm pretty sure red did not exist before this.
They created red. Dude, there's a lot of shades of red in this movie too.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot of red.
His bicycle, it just looks so amazing. Well, not a bicycle, motorcycle.
Right, yeah.
Futuristic motorcycle.
Futuristic motorcycle.
It's very large.
Dude, Kaneda's motorcycle is so dope.
And then he just like makes it tacky by throwing on a couple bumper stickers.
Right, yeah. Akira, Tetsuo, Kaneda, 3 of the coolest names I've ever heard in my life. Especially Tetsuo, like, sucks he's such a trash person, but that name is awesome.
He's fine.
He's okay.
He's just
okay.
finding his way.
He's just discovering himself.
I totally forgot that he flies to space.
Yeah, just out of nowhere, he's like, oh, that satellite's shooting me. Let me go up there.
And all it did was destroy his arm.
Yeah.
And he reaches.
how powerful was
how he,
that?
like, reaches out and just like materializes like a
A brand
arm.
new one out of like metal and wires and stuff. Yeah, but how powerful is that laser that it actually like severed and destroyed his arm? As at this point, nothing has hurt him. Nothing's coming close to touching him.
Well, Tetsu or Kaneda was hurting his pride.
His pride, yeah. He wasn't in danger
Like
of
how he
killing
just
him.
keeps antagonizing this entire time.
I like the ending. Yeah, Kaneda just keeps showing up at different points. It's like, you again?
Yeah.
Just being a thorn in his side. And they're supposed to be
It's
friends.
like, still you're being as whiny as ever.
Yeah. Tetsuo was just an antagonist the whole time. Especially at the police station, whenever they get in the fight with the clowns and they all get brought in and like to interview from the cops, which, man, that must have been a terrible night for that station.
Did they ever talk about like the police station again? Because I'm pretty sure that dud of a grenade went off, like you pointed out.
Yeah, at the end when Tetsuo...
I don't think they ever went back to that.
No, I don't think they ever go back to that, but I did think that was really funny that a random person there was like trying to blow the whole station up and like, I guess, essentially kill himself and kill everybody else in there, and his grenade just doesn't work, so the police take him down and beat him up. As they do every time they like subdue anyone in this movie, the police just beat the crap out of them. It's just a gang stomping every time they do it in the movie.
They started following America's lead.
Yeah, right. Way before it happened. Well, I guess way before it was super popular.
Well, and this movie takes place in 2019.
True. Yeah, that was
where we are now.
That was really funny to see in the beginning of the movie. Dang, that's such a good point. It takes place in 2019, and there's just like police brutality all over it.
Yeah, and they're building like an Olympic Coliseum for the 2019 Olympics. 2020, the Olympics are actually going to be held in Japan again. So
are you kidding me?
They were almost
they were
right
so
on
close.
point. Yeah.
Man, I hope they don't build it over Akira. Woo, that's not gonna be good.
Well, I must say, Neo Tokyo looks a lot worse than current Tokyo.
Yeah, Neo Tokyo looks a lot worse than almost anywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of litter there.
Yeah, a lot of
From
litter.
what I've seen of real Japan, it's pretty clean.
And there was violence literally nonstop throughout it.
Oh yeah.
Like anywhere you go, just something bad is happening.
Yeah, like the people that were peacefully protesting, like, hey, there's gonna be like a revolution, like spray painting the ground, and then just cops move in to start beating the mess out of them.
Immediately just start beating all of them up. There's like 3 people there, like, get them down. Just beat him up. I'm like, all right, well, you guys are serious. Yeah, they never go back to that police station, but when Kaneda and all his buddies get out, he sees that girl in there. He's like, oh, she's also with us. And he calls the police officer there, Pops. Not like really angry. He's like, I'm 26 years old.
I'm not even married
He's like,
yet.
I'm 26 years old. I'm not even married. Watch your mouth. He's like, yeah, take her with you. So they leave, and she calls him a skirt chaser, which is a term they use throughout the movie after that a lot.
It's also very accurate.
And it is very accurate about Kaneda. That's obviously all he cares about and all he's doing. When he's trying to like get her to go on a date with him or go out with him, she like turns him down and walks away. And in the background, you see the police station, and then an explosion goes off on the top of like the dome from where I guess they would like put the grenade away or something. And it actually did work. I don't know what that was about. I don't know who he's supposed to be.
Well, yeah, but with like those protesters that get beaten up, there's obviously like a lot of discontent between the citizens and the government because there's obviously like clear like corruption.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Going back to kind of talking about like how there's really no antagonist in this, if there is one character that's kind of not completely awful, it's
Shukishima.
It's Shukishima, the colonel, right? Because he's
overall just a soldier.
Yeah, he's just a soldier. All he's concerned with doing is following his orders and doing what a soldier does, as well as he wants to build Tokyo back up to be like
he also just
a
wants
good
to
place
contain
again.
Tetsuo.
Yeah, and he wants to contain Tetsuo. Granted, all the experiments and stuff they're doing on the kids and stuff like that, and how they literally dissected and destroyed and killed Akira, like, not good, and he obviously had to know about all that stuff.
I don't know if they put Akira down on their own, because I really don't see how they could have.
True, yeah, maybe they didn't put him down on their own, but they definitely dissected his body and stuff, and they held those other 3 kids prisoners.
And they had to, for science.
And they've been doing some experiments, right? They're up to over 25 test subjects, so they've been doing something that he is very involved with. So like that whole aspect of his character and stuff is definitely not good. Overall, he's the only one that has like a shred of morality to him. Basically, is what I'm saying. Like no one else really has that.
I don't even know if that's necessarily
the kids
about
are pretty moral.
morality. I think it's more just a sense of just like what had to be done.
A sense of like duty.
Because they're trying to relieve him from his like position.
Yeah.
Because apparently they don't think he's doing a good enough job. He's like, really, you want to put like those corrupt politicians, like those cowards in like power right now in a time like this? I'm not giving you that option.
Yeah, I love that little scene when
like shoot them.
The guy walks up to with like a bunch of like military or police officers, and he's got like this letter, and he's reading it like, you know, you've been relieved of duty, blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, no, shoot that guy. And one of his soldiers shoots him, and then all the other soldiers draw their guns, and he's like,
and one of his people gets shot too.
Yeah, one of his people gets shot, and he's like, do you really want to put those politicians in power in a time like this? And soldiers are like, no, actually, that's a good point. We don't. And they just let him go.
Which normally I would also question like his decision on that. Like, you're just going to disobey your people like that? Like, are you just looking for a position of power? But no, like at a time like that it had to be done.
Right. Especially for us, like from the outside looking in and seeing their like the board meeting they had and how dumb and bumbling all those people were. It's like, yeah, they definitely should not be running anything. He's the only one that seems like he is.
Especially that one bucktooth guy.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the only one that seems like a modicum of intelligence. Yeah, and that bucktooth guy as well, it definitely didn't seem like the revolutionaries that worked for him knew that he was a part of that other stuff.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah, he was like playing both sides there.
Oh yeah, and that's why he starts like trying to put all his money in files away.
Yeah, and there's like a heart attack on the way out.
And along with possibly like overdosing.
Yeah, and probably overdosing, and he shoots the guy that comes to see him.
Yeah,
because he's like, you ratted me on. He's like, what are you even talking about? And he shoots him. The scientist guy, Ryu. Well, not scientist, the revolutionary guy, Ryu.
I have to say, like, Kaneda's probably like one of the luckiest dudes in fiction ever.
Absolutely, dude. Everything towards the end of this movie, the last 30 minutes, just works out for him.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to try and antagonize someone with like the power that Tetsuo has.
Yeah.
And, like, he just gets lucky.
Yeah. It's insane, dude. He gets swallowed up inside the blob boom, is able to get out of it. And before that, he like keeps following him around, antagonizing him, trying to shoot him, keeps getting in fights with him, and just barely living through him. Like, barely escaping death.
He literally almost gets absorbed at the end.
Yeah, he almost gets shot down by a laser, too.
Like how Tetsuo's girlfgirlfriend did. Get absorbed.
Oh, man, that was awful.
He's like, I also like how when he did that, like Tetsuo's screaming out to Kaneda for help yet again.
Yeah,
he's been antagonizing this whole time, but as soon as he loses control of his power, he calls out for his friend for help.
Exactly, I really like that. It's really touching, actually.
Yeah, and he also said that he felt like that girl's pain. Like,
yeah, he's like, I can feel her pain. Like,
that kind of messed me up.
That scene was rough, dude. Yeah.
Yes. The score for this movie was pretty excellent all around, but especially I think during the hallucination scene.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Like the bear and the duck and like that car
and the milk everywhere.
Yeah, the milk for whatever reason.
Yeah, whatever reason, that was weird. Like, well, I mean, yeah, all those hallucination scenes are really weird. And then it comes like to be like revealed that it's the kids that are doing that the whole time. They're like messing around with Tetsuo's mind. It's not like him just like losing control and going crazy. It's them like antagonizing, trying to like scare him so that he will stay.
We already talked about that.
Yeah, but don't even start with me today. Woo! Don't start. There's chaos around here.
Also, like, yeah, when Tetsuo makes his appearance on the streets, like, he immediately gets followers just like that.
Yeah, instantly.
It's the advent of Akira. He's finally arisen. And then, like, their bridge literally just collapses beneath them.
It's like, well, that wasn't the right person to fall, was it? This movie also very, like, from watching it, you would seem to think very clearly this is heavily influenced, like, visually by Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah.
But Akira also comes from a manga, which I've never read. Blade Runner came out in 1982, the movie, which is also when the manga came out. So there's no way they could have seen that movie before they released that manga. It's impossible, right? So if Akira is more influenced by the manga than by that movie, then that's just like a mad coincidence. Visually, it's very, very similar.
Oh, yeah.
Very similar.
Like, I believe, like, I read that this is what introduced, like, Japanese audiences to, like, the whole cyberpunk genre.
What a great introduction. But man, like, overall, I just cannot get over how incredible the animation for this movie was. It's so weird to see, like, everything was so animated. Like, everything is rough. There's no smooth, glossy lines over things. You know, like, when there's a blanket and someone's laying in bed, it's got all the wrinkles and ruffles, and it's moving as they're tossing and turning, instead of just, like, a flat sheet that's, like, a smooth surface. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, everything is so heavily detailed.
Well,
it's
even
incredible.
in, like, just the scenes where there's just dialogue, like how normally you would see in most animations, like it would be like just a still shot of both of them like going back and forth, and
with just mouth moving,
like simple mouth flaps. But in this, like you actually see them like their mouths is like actually like shaping the words, and like their hands is like moving while they're talking.
And their faces are emoting while they're speaking too. Like the whole thing is done like it's legit, almost like they filmed this entire movie in live action and went back and like, all right, now let's animate all that exactly how it would look. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, like man, it's so detailed, and it makes sense that it took so long to make it. It's so extensive.
I don't know if this is commonly done in Japan or not, but apparently like all the like dialogue and stuff was recorded before they even animated it.
Yeah, that's from what we had read, that like that's very common in like American audiences, but not as common in like Japan for animes. But so like they definitely, the reason you would do the voice first is so that when you animate it, you know what that character is going to say, and you can try to make their mouth look like it, which clearly does in this movie. Every time they speak, their mouth is forming the words. Like,
yeah, usually what I see in like most voice acting things is like you'll see them in a booth, they'll be playing it in the background.
Yeah,
they have like a line that
doing
will appear, like,
it's called ADR. ADR, yeah.
I thought that was like with live action stuff.
Well, with live action, it's called ADR. It may be different for animation, but yeah, it's the same principle.
I don't do ADR. This entire podcast is actually ADR.
Yeah, the entire thing. how much wasted effort that would be. So reason we put it on YouTube, we'd record ourselves and see how to do the ADR. Oh man, we went to a studio for that. Be like, why are you guys even here? It's just pointless. That would be hilarious, honestly. I kind of want to go do that now and just waste the $40 for an appointment just to see what they would say.
$40?
Yeah. That's how much it cost last time per hour.
Layla, we need you to sponsor us again.
We need more sponsors. But yeah, you were saying like it's them in the studio and they're watching like the animation back and doing the voice performance, which for like a voice actor.
Especially also how they do like sound effects added on.
True, yeah. For a voice actor, it seems like that would make your performance easier to see it in front of you, to know like how the character is moving and acting.
That just looks very tricky to me though.
So, but I think it's even more tricky like for a voice actor if you have nothing to look at. You just have the dialogue.
They're following your lead almost.
True. Well, yeah, maybe it would be easier for them. Yeah, true. I mean, it creates a complication either way you do it for somebody. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, there's an obstacle to overcome regardless.
Yep. That's really cool. They did it that way though. How like they did it in a way that's not the typical way that animation was done. At least anime was done. You know. That's really cool. And as well as speaking of awesome animation, we are sponsored by Ink or Die Studios. Omega Level is proudly sponsored by Ink or Die Studios, a unique combination of a tattoo parlor and hair salon. Located at 270 North Dakota Street by Flanagan's, Ink or Die Studios employs the best artists and stylists around. Boasting a friendly atmosphere, helpful, talented, and incredibly creative staff, Ink or Die Studios is the only tattoo shop and hair salon you'll ever need. Stop in, call, or contact them through their social media accounts today to set up an appointment. And also with what you're saying with how Tetsuo just goes up to space and destroys that satellite, we also earlier in the movie just see him teleport out of nowhere.
Maybe not necessarily him. I can't even remember if he actually teleported or not. I think he did like face through that glass, and he's like, oh, I can fly too, ha ha ha.
Yeah, he like phased or teleported through something, and he didn't even know what he was doing.
Even
how
if
it was
he
happening.
didn't do it though, with like his powers that like.
Then the kids
repressed.
phased him out.
The kids
Yeah.
definitely did it because they took I think they took that girl Kay away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It may have been the kids that did. Actually, I think about it because they do take Kai, right?
Yeah, Kai or Kay. I can't remember how her name's pronounced. They like hold her hand, and start walking away, literally just disappear.
Yeah, and
just
disappeared,
other
like
people just comment on that.
Yeah,
Kaneda's
Kaneda's
vanished.
Kaneda and whoever was with him was like they just disappeared, and Kaneda's like what? As he's trying to chase after him, and they were also walking on the water.
Yes,
Kaneda goes out after him, he falls in.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
That gross water. I think he had a dead rat on his head.
No, that was later on when they're in the tunnel underneath the sewer.
Trying to sneak through, and they had that one security guy start.
That was
shooting at
disgusting.
them.
Yeah, and how lucky does Tetsuo get in that moment too? That dude crashes into this, or not Tetsuo, sorry, Kaneda. That dude crashes in the side of the wall, so Kaneda gets up and goes to get on his jet ski bike thing, and kind of messes up, and it turns to the side, and he loses balance, and it shoots and destroys someone else coming at him at that point. Like just the perfect mess up, and then he's able to get on and drive away.
Well, so he jumped on the bike as it was coming at him. Like that's just not.
That's
safe.
what it was. Yeah, jumped on it. Yeah, and then at another point, someone jumps off earlier in the movie when they're chasing the clown gang off a it's Kaneda jumps off a full speed motorcycle and just starts running. Like, man, how does Kaneda has luck on his side?
Well, he was also the only reason he escaped being absorbed by Tetsuo is because he had his little laser gun.
Yeah.
Which was just so disgusting. So it's spitting him out, all those ugh.
Yeah, it was nasty. Those little laser guns are freaking cool though.
Yeah, I don't know where he got that. I can't remember where he got that.
Yeah, so it definitely seemed like either we just didn't see it, or it's just supposed to be understood that on his way to Tetsuo, he picked it up from somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you see him driving his bike, and he gets off, and then it shows Tetsuo doing his stuff, and then Kaneda is walking up the little garbage mountain that Tetsuo has created of all his destruction, and all of a sudden Kaneda now has one of those big rifles with him. It's like, what? Wait a minute. What happened? And then he's trying to shoot at Tetsuo, and it's literally doing nothing, just irritating him.
Yeah.
It's poke the bear. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I like how he hit him with the battery was dying. Did that just negate that last laser beam? He just looks, he's just like a little tiny scorch.
Yeah.
I'm it was still a laser.
Mm-hmm. And then Kaneda almost gets destroyed at the end from a laser that's going to come from the satellite, but then everything gets destroyed. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, I love their final fight.
That's so cool.
Just has a laser gun and a sweet motorcycle versus a baby god.
Man, it was so cool. And then the ending, dude, oh man. It's just 2001 A Space Odyssey level of just brilliant, genius, mind-blowing endings.
It's not nearly as
It's not nearly as confusing. Because it isn't going for 45 minutes.
There's no space baby.
Yeah.
It's almost.
It's awesome how I just love. I can't get over how that's the resolution. That's so awesome. No one's defeated. He's just kind of transported to another, tempted to transport to another dimension, and he creates his own universe. Crazy.
He became more powerful.
Ultimately, yeah. He wasn't taking the pills. So yeah, he became final form. Just I am Tetsuo. One of the best ending lines ever.
We're going to go rewatch it now?
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go rewatch it. Actually, we're going to add that on to the episode the next 2 hours and start watching it. Thanks for tuning in and watching us. We appreciate it. Be sure to let us know what you thought of Akira or Akira, however you choose to say it. Akira is the proper way. Let us know what you thought about the movie. If you have seen it, if not, does this make you want to watch it? If you haven't seen it, we just told you the whole thing. So yeah, it's great, and now you know. If you have any other ideas for movies that you would like to see us talk about and discuss, let us know. Drop us a line. We appreciate you watching. Steven doesn't like you.
I don't really appreciate it.